We are watching the most terrifying cards to ever exist. Genuinely, this is absolutely dumb. Like, these guys are absolutely dumb. So, no brainers. These guys are dumb.
And
Let's
slowly
watch this
work
thing
our
now.
way towards the most terrifying ones on the list. Number 7,
Whoa,
the
wait, wait,
Russian
wait.
Doom.
Pause. I think we're going from strange to straight up nightmare. Nah, okay, I'm ready.
Slowly work our way towards the most terrifying ones on the list. Number 7, the Russian Doomsday Cult.
Wait. The Russian Doomsday card. This guy looks tough. These guys look tough. Nah, I know these guys look tough. Okay, this guy definitely looks tough. So I bet they're not that cringe, right? No way
Russian
these guys are
Doomsday Cult
cringe.
would make international news in November of 2007 when around 35 of their members barricaded themselves inside of a small cave in Russia's Penza region.
Wait, that doesn't sound smart. No, it does not. Huh. Let's see, bro.
And when authorities went down to investigate and remove them from the cave, the cult members would respond by threatening to blow themselves up. With some of the members even bringing their children inside of the cave, police were left with no option but to wait them out. But before
Bruh, that is not smart. These guys are not smart. What should I do? If it was me. Okay, there's no way I can do something like that, bro.
by
Oh god.
threatening to blow themselves up. With
I'll be like, do it now. 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 That's exactly what I'll be saying right now. I'll be like, do it now. Now.
some of the members just
Pause.
when around
Listen
35
again.
of their members barricaded themselves inside of a small cave in Russia's Penza region. And when authorities went down to investigate and remove them from the cave, the cult members would respond by threatening to blow themselves up.
Oh my god. Do you know what I would say? I would say do it now. Now. No way. No, see, if I'm the cops, no way I'll be outside. Wife and family. Child, listen. Wife and family at home. Thinking, yo, when will dad ever come back? Or when will dad come back? And I'll be here waiting for a bunch of cringy ass criminals to say, okay, if you come in, we'll blow ourselves up. No way, bro.
With some of the members even bringing their children inside of the cave,
Dude, even the children. Nah,
police were left with no option but to wait them out. But before I tell you how this all
That's practically using your own kids as hostage. Doesn't make sense.
ends, let's first cover the origins of this mysterious group and how they got to that point. The cave dwellers were originally part of the Russian Orthodox Church, but they would end up leaving the church when a self-proclaimed prophet named Pyotr Kuznetsov convinced them that the world would soon be coming to an end. Pyotr would refer to his new followers as the Chosen Ones, which
Pause. The chosen ones. Dude, listen. If you hear the word the chosen ones, it only means one thing. You are being played as a fool. Only fools are called the chosen one. There are no chosen one. No one is
made them feel special.
chosen.
Pyotr would ban his followers from eating processed foods,
Hey.
watching TV, or handling money.
How does that make sense? Bro, you need money to survive. You need money. Oh god, this is so dumb. Wait, what is? Are you sure this guy are cult members? Nah, cult members are usually dumb. Cult members are usually dumb.
They would
Cult
also
members is
reject
usually-
barcodes, national identification numbers, and passports, since Pyotr convinced them
Oh.
that they all contained the mark of the
Oh.
beast.
Oh, the mark of the beast.
Since
Well,
Pyotr convinced
the
them that they
mark
all
of the
contained the mark
beast. Oh god, that's so dumb. That's next level brainwashing, bro.
of the beast.
This is
But
next
after
level
some time had gone
brainwash.
by, his followers began to ask questions.
Dude, if it was me, I'm like, huh? You talking about we should never use cash, no barcodes. These are mark of the devil. Then what the fuck are we? What the hell are we supposed to do, bro? What are we
Piotr,
supposed to use?
Yeah?
you
How
know
was I
how
supposed to
you've been
survive?
talking a whole lot about the end of the world and all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Scammer.
me and the others been wondering, well, when exactly is it?
Well,
What you mean?
What you mean? Say something, bro.
May 2008. Yeah, May 2008. Which was 6
Oh, I
months
gotta leave
away.
this shit.
The group was then instructed to enter a small cave and patiently wait for the
Wow.
world to come to an end. The cult members entered the cave in
Dude, that's the dumbest idea, bro.
November 2007.
November
But conveniently
2007.
enough, Pyotr would not be joining them. Instead, he had convinced his followers that since the world was ending, they would no longer need their personal possessions. With authorities speculating that he was busy selling off his followers' belongings, he was quickly
Hey. Fraud alerts. Fraud alerts. Fraud alerts. Jeez. Bro, this is next level brainwash. Next level
arrested and
brainwash.
taken into custody. If only he could have predicted his arrest.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
You're talking about
I'll see
scammer,
myself
bro.
out. The cult members would oddly enough still remain inside of the cave, and 5 months would go by with no one entering or leaving. But on March 28th, 2008, 7 women finally had enough, exiting the cave and immediately seeking medical attention. A few days later, a portion of the cave would end up collapsing, leading more members to
So it took them months. It took them absolutely months to realize this was actually a scam. This is like next level scam for like dummies.
rage quit and exiting the cave.
Wait, these guys are
With
not-
some members
these guys
still
are not
refusing to
cult members.
leave,
These
the
guys are
police would have the
just-
brilliant idea of bringing Pyotr down to the cave, where he would instruct his followers to exit. But they refused. And on May 16th, 2008, the last 9 members of the cult
That's what we call brainwash successful.
would finally emerge
Absolutely.
from the cave due to the toxic fumes produced by 2 of the members who had died over the winter. With authorities expecting their
Ew.
exit, they greeted them with a cow, since they refused to drink milk that contained a barcode. As for Pyotr, authorities would discover that the man actually slept inside of a coffin, further solidifying the fact that he was completely insane, where he would end up inside of a psych ward. Number 6, Shinrikyo.
No,
Probably
the guy's not as insane as the followers, bro. The followers are next level insane.
one of the most infamous and dangerous cults to have ever existed. In
What did he call-
1980,
what
one
did
of
he
the
call-
most psych ward. Number 6, Shinrikyo. Probably one of the
Shinrikyo.
most infamous and dangerous cults to have ever existed. In 1987, this cult would make themselves known to the world when a few of their members orchestrated the deadliest domestic attack in Japan's history, leaving 13 innocent people dead and over 6,000 injured. But before we get to that heinous attack, let's first cover how this cult began. The year is 1987. A man named Chizuo Matsumoto began to distribute pamphlets claiming to have reached a new level of enlightenment through meditation. The pamphlet advertised a
Scam
yoga
a
class
lot.
where you can come and learn about his amazing discovery. But during these classes, he would spend his time preaching about the end of the world. And that should have probably been your cue to updog your way out the class.
What's that?
Nothing much, man. What's up with you?
I don't get it.
And over the course of a few years, he managed to garner dozens of loyal followers, naming the group
Wow.
Shinrikyo, which roughly translates to the Supreme Truth. And in 1992,
The
Chizuo Matsumoto
Supreme
would gain even more
Truths.
followers when he released a book titled Declaring Myself the Christ, which had a picture of him on the cross as the cover.
Hey,
At
hey,
its peak,
hey.
the cult would grow to over tens of thousands of members that
Scare
spanned
my
over
lights.
multiple countries. His followers would even state that if people would just take a moment to listen to their enlightened leader, they too would see the light. But without warning, on the morning of March 20th,
I think
1995, tragedy would strike when a total of 5 chemical weapon attacks took place in the Tokyo subway system, killing 13 innocent people and injuring around 6,000 others. The attacks would quickly backfire as the authorities began to arrest everyone involved, including the cult leader.
Wait,
These
was this
attacks
thing
were
the
meant to
pandemic?
initiate
No, I don't
the
think so.
apocalypse. And once the world had collapsed, the cult would rise to rule the world in the way that they saw fit. But instead, the attacks
Scam
led the leader and
101.
6 high-ranking members directly to death row, where they were held until their execution date, which came on July 6, 2018.
God, what the fuck?
Number 5, Heaven's Gate.
God, the
Heaven's
rope is
Gate was an
bigger than
American
a girl's
religion
neck,
movement
bruh.
that began to garner a following in Southern California during the mid-1970s. The group has been characterized as a UFO religion cult, whatever the hell that means. The followers of
Does that
this
mean they
cult
worship the
believed that they could
UFO?
transform themselves into immortal extraterrestrial beings once they rejected their human nature, something that they would refer to as reaching the next level, which I guess they ultimately did, but more on that later. The group was started by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, who after
Marshall
confiding in each other would come to the
Applewhite.
conclusion that they were the 2 witnesses described in the book of Revelation, which would make them prophets. Fully convinced, they would attend church groups where they would present themselves as the 2. And I can only assume
The
how
2.
funny that must have been. He broke the bread and gave it to them, saying, this is my body. Excuse me? Yeah? Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to let you guys know that, well, we are the 2. What does that mean? Like, the 2.
The
I'm
what?
not following. You know, like what 2? The 2 from the book of Revelations? Right. Get a load of this guy.
That's funny.
But somehow the 2 would begin to garner a following when they began to hand out flyers advertising their seminars, like this one, claiming to be from the next level, leaving their higher being self to come down to earth to help others. And somehow they managed to recruit around 39 loyal followers. Now, one of the
Well, I think the title is wrong. I'm not sure this thing's supposed to be called the most terrifying cults to ever exist. It's supposed to be called the most dumb, stupid set of people to ever
strangest
exist.
and most terrifying thing about this cult was the fact that all male members were required to be castrated.
Sign me out, please. Please. Oh my god. Oh my god. No way.
All male members. Strangest and most terrifying thing about this cult was the fact that all male members were required to be castrated,
Sign me out.
which we can all agree is a wild thing to just throw out.
Chat. Even for $1 billion, I would still say no. If this guy say if these guys are saying yes, if these guys are doing it, God, these guys are no better than goats.
The group would first try to do the procedure in
Sheeps.
house, almost killing one of their members.
Blood of Jesus. This guy right here is the dumbest guy to ever exist on planet Earth. If it's true, this guy's the dumbest. Who's more dumber than this guy? Come on.
So all
No one is
future
dumber than this
castrations
guy.
would take place at the local hospital. The group would be left in complete shock when one of the two founding leaders, Bonnie Nettles, would suddenly pass away. This would cause the entire cult's belief system to collapse, since they originally preached that all members were to ascend alive inside of a UFO. So Applewhite made a few adjustments to their beliefs and would come to the conclusion that only the person's soul would
You
be
know about
taken by
Rainbow
the
Dream?
spaceship. 12 years would go by, and the members of Heaven's Gate grew tired of waiting. And on March 26,
guys
1997,
are
the
still
San
waiting,
Diego
bro.
County Sheriff's Department would discover a horrifying scene. Inside of a rented mansion laid 39 lifeless bodies, including
Goddamn, 39.
the cult's leader, bringing Applewhite's revelations to fruition. And in his own words, the members of Heaven's Gate had finally graduated. Number 4, the Branch Davidians. This is one of the most insane cults to have ever existed. The Branch Davidians were an apocalyptic Christian
That was the
cult
dumbest
founded in
set of
Texas in
cults I've ever seen. Those are
1935
the
by a man
dumbest.
named Victor Houteff. And in 1957, the cult would purchase 941 acres of land near Elk, Texas, where they would build a large community that would serve as their home and headquarters.
this is
But
looking
things
very
wouldn't
good.
really
This is
start to
looking
heat
good.
up until 1987, when a man named David Koresh would take over as the cult's leader. And he was, of course, you guessed it, a self-proclaimed
Idiot.
prophet. According to David, he was
goddamn.
appointed by God as a prophet with the task of bringing the day of judgment.
Why? This is like giving me some Nigerian vibes, yo. Nigerian vibes.
But David's downfall would
Those
start when he
freaking
began to
prophets we have,
illegally
bro.
collect and stockpile dozens of guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition, since he was preparing for the upcoming apocalypse. And on February 28th, 1993, federal
zombie
agents would arrive at
apocalypse.
the cult's doorsteps with a search and arrest warrant in hand. But the Davidians cult members had no intentions of allowing them inside or arresting their leader. And within moments, gunshots began to go off. In the gunfire, 4 federal agents and 6 Davidians would end up losing their lives. But this was just the beginning. The cult members would go on to barricade themselves inside of their compound for 51 days. But eventually, the FBI was
Well, have this guys heard of the word missile before? Bro, if I'm the head of the division of police, if I'm the head of the division of police, shit, I would personally go in there with my bazooka. Pow! These guys are dead.
given the green
Dead.
light to enter, firing multiple tear gas canisters inside, and shortly after, the entire building would erupt in flames. And
Oh,
to this
God.
day, no one really knows who started the fire, but after it was lit,
obviously-
the standoff
it's
would end
obviously the
within
cult
the
leader,
hour,
right?
with 76 Davidians and their leader perishing in the fire or by smoke inhalation. And for the high-ranking cult members who managed to escape with their lives, they would end up inside of a cell. Number 3, Order of the
Tell me
Solar
number two-
Temple.
tell me number three
This
is the best.
apocalyptic cult would make national headlines on October 4th, 1994,
I hope
when
it's not
two
the
fires would
N-word.
break out in Switzerland,
Ooh,
one at a
Switzerland.
farm and the other in a chalet. When the paramedics arrived at the scene, they would discover a total of 48 burned bodies across both locations.
Hey,
They had
yo.
all been wearing white cloaks, but strangely enough,
White cloaks. If you know what white cloaks, what does that mean? The Ku Klux Klan.
some of them also had a plastic bag over their heads. They were all laid out flat on the ground and in a circle. One of the sites was even surrounded by mirrors and the cult's symbols. On arrival, officers would also discover that the fires had been ignited with a remote control device. And since this was the early 1990s, they were clearly showing off. But these fires wouldn't be an isolated incident. In fact, this was just the beginning. 1 year later, on December 15th, 1995, in France, 16 burned bodies would be discovered, laying in the formation of a star. Then 2 years later, on March 22nd, 1997, 5 more members would be discovered in Canada. They were yet again set ablaze by a remote controlled device. Now, here's the terrifying part. Remember those plastic bags? Well, apparently multiple cult members refused to drink the poison on the night of the sacrifice, where they were then held down against their will and had plastic bags placed over their heads. This was not a choice. Everyone had to participate. The reason why these
my
cult members took
God.
part in these rituals was because they believed that the end of the world was near, and by leaving Earth, their souls would ascend to another planet, inevitably escaping the apocalypse. Number 2, movement
Okay, I guess these guys are level 2 dumber.
for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God. Could they not have thought of a shorter name? Now, this will probably be one of the most tragic endings to a cult that you will ever hear. But before I tell you how this all ends, let's first cover the cult's rise and beliefs. This was a religious movement that took place in Uganda from 1989 through the early
Uganda. I mean, the word Uganda.
2000s. The group would claim to be a religious movement, garnering around 5,000 members at its peak. However, the rest of the world would categorize this group as a doomsday cult. The cult's beliefs were very simple. Members were strictly to follow the 10 Commandments.
You know what? The title of this video should be the Doomsday Cult. No, the most insane Doomsday Cult.
Commandments. They thought that by doing so, they would escape the coming apocalypse. They actually feared breaking the commandments so much that a lot of the members outright refused to speak and would instead communicate using sign language. Adapting the classic winning strategy of you can't lose if you don't play. Which is a strategy that I have been using for years, making my friends absolutely jealous. Since they say stuff to me like, you literally don't even leave the house, you don't do anything anymore, and what happened to you? But don't worry, those are just words. It's so much better to know that you remain undefeated.
Wow.
The leaders of the cult
Watching
would even
Netflix.
claim to be able to directly talk to God and being told when the world would come to an end, placing the date on December 31st,
these guys are smart.
1999. As soon as this date was announced, the cult members erupted in a frenzy, selling their livestock and all of their belongings
Look at the poor cow.
for very cheap. The leaders would then instruct their members
Just
to
like
give all
level-
of the money to the movement, which they gladly did. But
Wow,
eventually, the
scam.
date of doomsday
Scam.
arrived, and surprise, nothing happened, causing the leaders to push the date back to March 17th, 2000. With the followers enraged and beginning to ask for their money back, the leaders could not have
Bro, who the hell is believing? Who the hell is like actually, you know, getting scammed like this?
afford to
bro?
be wrong this time around. So on March 17,
Like some next
2000,
level
all 530 members
small
were
brain
instructed to
scam.
attend a party inside of a boarded up church. But just moments after the last person arrived, the party would quickly come to an end. With the only entrance to the church being shut, the building quickly erupted in flames. With no way out, all 530 members would be trapped inside and slowly burned alive. Police would later discover that 2 of the 5 cult leaders never attended the party. And just 4 days after the church fire, police would investigate all of the cult's properties, discovering an additional 395 bodies. The bodies of members that had been poisoned
God, 300. 300. You know, this is one of the reasons why I hate cults and, you know, some secret
just
societies.
days
So
before the
annoying.
party, raising the total body count to over 900. The 2 cult leaders that are believed to have orchestrated these attacks managed to escape the country before being captured, and to this day, they remain free. Number 1, the People's Temple. This cult
Oh, number 1, the People's Temple. I'm getting good vibes.
would become one of the most talked about tragedies in all of American history. With countless of
I'm getting good
documentaries
vibe.
made on the subject and word of a new movie currently in the works, it really goes to show just how much of an impact this cult has had on society. It would all begin in 1954 in Indianapolis, Indiana,
1954.
when a communist man named Jim Jones opened up his own church, attracting people by offering healing services, claiming to heal all sorts of diseases. In the coming years, Jones would garner thousands of loyal followers, secretly using religion to further his political ideology. After a while, Jones would begin to get criticized for his views, leading him to move to California in 1965. And by the early 1970s, he had established the temple's headquarters in San Francisco. Old members would be tasked with recruiting, leading to massive growth. And eventually, they would reach thousands of members.
Hey,
Yeah? What's up?
do you like Jesus?
What? Like our Lord and Savior Jesus?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess. He's cool.
cool.
Next
Want to
level
like him with
scam.
us?
I'm okay, man. Thanks.
Why?
Bro eventually gets
I'm
scammed.
okay,
bro.
brother. Appreciate the offer, though.
Why?
Just keep it moving, man.
What was
Why?
about, bro?
I
If it was
see
me,
it.
I'll be like, get the fuck out.
Why?
Okay, I can't do that. Acres of remote land in Guyana in South America, a place he would call Jonestown, slowly sending over members as they would begin to build homes and inhabiting the land. He
Wait,
convinced his
this
followers
community
to
actually
move
looks
by selling them the
promising.
vision of
Yes.
paradise, a place where they can live freely without the government getting involved. For Jones,
for
creating a
crime.
socialist society had always been his goal, and it was finally taking shape.
Why does this guy look
By
Chinese?
1977, around 900 members lived on the compound, and this would also be the same year that Jones would permanently join them. But the moment he arrived, things quickly changed. Everyone was expected to work 8-hour days, followed by classes at night, where they would learn about socialism. Jones had effectively begun to brainwash his followers, even taking on the name Father. But
That's the definition of a scam. That's a no. These guys are not quote unquote cult leaders, bro. These are not like the most terrifying leaders. These are like the most brainwashed, dumb ass people that ever exist.
everything would change on November 17,
No different from chickens, bro.
1978, when a politician named Leo Ryan and his team arrived at Jonestown to investigate claims of abuse. After the investigation was complete, Ryan would be ambushed at the airstrip, where he and 3 others would be fatally gunned down. Jones, knowing that the end was near, had a few helpers prepare a giant tub of grape-flavored drink, adding to it a concoction of drugs and cyanide. He would then instruct all of his followers to drink a cup. Not knowing what was in it, his followers blindly followed his instructions. And with
And
that cup,
drank to
they had all
satisfaction.
but sealed their fate. More than 900 people, including Jones, would end up dying shortly after.
God, oh my God, 900 people brainwashed. 900 people brainwashed. This is next level insane.
This incident would create the famous saying, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," meaning to not blindly follow a leader or ideology without questioning or critical thinking, or you just might end up like the people at Jonestown.
Bro, what's the moral lesson of the day, bro? What's the moral lesson of the day? You never follow blindly. Bro, that's the only thing that's taking people backward, bro. That's the only thing that's putting people back. Man, this was interesting. It was actually interesting, but I think the title was misleading, bro. The title was not supposed to be the most terrifying cult that ever exists, but more like the dumbest cult that ever exists. The most brainwashed, brainless people that ever exist, bro. It's not even about the cult leader, bro. It's about the followers. 900 people decided to follow this one dumbass. Yeah, I think people are really generally dumb. People just basically follow the crowd, bro. And with that, I'll see you guys next video. Less short. I'll be posting more short videos, and more, see you guys when we see you guys. See you guys when we see you guys.